Jeremiah, you live in Berlin and your film is set in Lesotho. I was wondering, what are your ties to Lesotho? In which way are you bound to Lesotho?
Because I come from Lesotho. I
Were
was
you
raised. I was born and raised.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Lesotho, and I have a very connection to the place. As much as I've been living here for 8 years, but Lesotho, it's something very. I guess it's something that that whatever that's in your life, whatever you learn, you learn it from that place, and it's still sort of stuck with you. It has a lot to do with my childhood memories. It's really who I am. This is who I am.
Definitely.
And
what you show in your film, is it the village that you show? Is it the village where you grew up as well?
No. I grew up in the city. I grew up in the city, in like a small town. But my grandmother is the one who comes from the mountainous area, where it's like the highlands. It's more like the place where we shot the film. But they haven't got to see the film. We're planning that now when I go back to Lesotho, they'll get to see the film.
Okay. And when would that be? When the park open, probably?
Yeah, hopefully at some point, but not immediately after the border, because I'm still writing, and also we want to do like a big premiere, so it's something that we need to take time and plan it well, so it becomes sort of an event, because we don't have a film festival in Lesotho, or we have a cinema in Lesotho, so we will try to make like a big deal out of it, to make a big event, and which means that we will have to wait a little bit and see if we get enough resources actually to make it happen.
So it's a sparsely populated country within, surrounded by South Africa, and you filmed in a very rural region. How difficult was it to make your film?
Wow, it's totally another beast as far as the conditions of making this film. Because it was raining all the time and the sun moves so fast.
Yeah.
Like literally, it will be here, we're thinking of a shot, and in the next minute, that's totally gone to the other direction. Now the shadows, we have to now wrestle with the shadows.
Yeah.
It was a mess. It was really a beautiful mess.
And what about electricity and so on?
No. That's the thing. There's no electricity. We rely on the generators that keeps breaking down, and also the village. The reason why I said it was like a really beautiful mess is because the village were really there for us, and they helped us with anything that we needed. They give us their office, they give us their manpower to carry the staff, to carry our actress. I mean, she's 80, and we're shooting. Sometimes we'll cross over the river, and the river will be overflowing because it's raining. And back and forth, the hill will go back and forth. And they will help us carry the equipment, carry everything. So we literally relied on the people, and the people are the ones who were like force behind the film. And yeah, they just willingly opened their doors and opened their houses to help us. So in a way, it was really like a beautiful experience. Despite all the pitfalls and despite all the hardship of making this film, it was wrestling. It was really like a war to make this film happen, even to set up a shot. We didn't have luxury of lights. We didn't have luxury of power source. So we were as minimal as we could just to make it work.
In how many days was the film shot?
I think we had a month to shoot the film.
Okay. Yeah. And why exactly did you want to tell this story? Can you tell me a bit more about your own grandmother, whose story this is about? Can you tell me a little bit more about the village? Why was it that you wanted to tell this story?
I mean, the reason why I want to tell the story, there's so many different reasons why I want to tell the story. First of all, I've been like really obsessed. Not even obsessed. I think I've been like really thinking a lot about like about birth and death and the life cycle and the new and the old um, and the structure that we build and the world that we build for ourselves and soon they become old and soon they become out of fashion or soon they become irrelevant, soon they're invalid.
Mm-hmm.
Like things that we do in life that they're new when they start, but in the end they become very old. Like it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about this as a wheel of time and seeing this as a wheel of time, that everything happens within this wheel of time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what really drove me to eventually want to make film about a 70-year-old widow who intends to die and be buried at a local cemetery. And also, I'm not necessarily living against or for progress. I mean, I guess that's why I had to make film about it because I had to react out of it. I had to react and to the frustration that I was carrying or the conflict that I was carrying
Mm-hmm.
about the progress and about the tradition. And also was because of my grandmother she's from the same village
Mm-hmm.
that is now being resettled. In fact, they're still fighting, and I would visit my grandmother a couple of times when I was young, so I know that place very well,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really beautiful memories for me.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like sort of fighting, and they're on the I don't know. Of course, eventually they're gonna have to leave the place and be resettled somewhere else.
Is your
So
grandmother
that was
alive?
no. She passed away. She passed away.
Mm-hmm. And how
Yeah.
did you cast Mantoa, your main character, for like representing your grandmother? How did you cast your actor or actress?
I was looking for when I when I was writing the script, I had a very specific person I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You were someone with like a broad shoulders, so it's very important to have someone with a broad shoulders and dark skin and like almost a sculpture,
Mm-hmm.
but yet very fragile still, yet that with that fragility. But now we couldn't find this person. I mean, we could find the people, but now at the same time they're not trained actresses, and to tell 80-year-old to act is like, well, what are you talking about? So I try to find people in my country, but now since we don't have the film infrastructure, so a lot of people they're not familiar with cinema or they're not familiar with acting. They've never done it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then we end up looking into South Africa, and my producer Kate was serving as well as a casting director. So, and then we were talking about Mary, and then Mary came up, and then we I watched her tape, and I was there as well to look at her, and then I really fell in love with her, and I thought she would be great. I mean, she's a soldier. She's a soldier. I mean, no one at the age of 80 could do things that she did. I mean, she's literally a wrestler.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, there were many times when during the film that she will fall, and we will think that now we cannot shoot again because she's done, and then she will get up and say, "Let's roll, let's do it." Even the scene when it's raining in the film, it's sort of raining down like crazy, and there's like horses around. She was kicked by the horse.
Wow.
Then actually, and then she was like a little bit. Of course, it took a little bit of time to recover. And when we're within the shooting time, but she will still continue shooting.
Okay.
I mean, she's literally a soldier.
Perfect. That's the perfect person for this role.
Yes.
Well, Jeremiah, there's a lot of religion in your film, and slowly but surely the topic changes and it becomes more about environment and so-called progress. And in the middle of the film, one of the villagers says his dad used to say to him, what they call progress is when men point their damning finger at nature and proclaim conquest over it. I was wondering, how has Lesotho changed in the last years?
It changed a lot. I mean, because now it's almost like yeah, because it changed a lot. Because I remember when I was young, when Nelson Mandela came to Lesotho, Nelson Mandela was coming out of prison, and everybody saw him as a hero. He was literally this god.
In the beginning of the night.
Yes, and we were all coming to see this man. I mean, at that time I was young, so I didn't know that he was there to seal the deal. That he inherited from the apartheid regime, and the agreement was made with the military government at that time of Lesotho. And it's the most bizarre and it's sadistic, really a contract that's ever been pinned down. Because Lesotho, they don't necessarily even get money. It's such a monopoly, because the World Bank and South Africa and Lesotho, they sort of came up with the agreement, and a lot of officials from Lesotho were paid. And now these dams, a lot of people are losing their lands. A lot of people, they come from the mountain and they are farmers, and they all they know is to keep farming and the livestock. So now when they move to the city, they cannot even farm anymore. And also there is like a lot of natural disasters happening right now with this dam. And also because now the first dams that were built, they didn't care about making like a proper survey, environmental survey, and assessing if it was the right place or not. But they just build and just keep the people out. You know, like for me, I always believe that it should the progress, the people should be the part of the progress, but not the end product, end result of it. But they should be part of the progress. It should be part of the, okay, we're going to move these people here because of this and this, like how they can sustain themselves and be able to live and be able to benefit from that as well. But in this case, it was never done like that. They are discarded, these people. They are discarded, they're thrown away. And this for me was
about the dam. When was it made? Was it when Nelson Mandela visited Lesotho? No.
Yeah, it was actually in talks before, but Nelson Mandela was the one who sealed it, who opened it. Yes, let's do it now. Because it never, because at that time there was political instability in Lesotho, so it never went through this deal. But when Nelson Mandela came to power, he sort of came and then they sealed the deal, and the first dam was built.
Yeah.
It was one of the biggest dams in Africa he built.
Yeah. In the end of your film, Mantoa stands up against the armed police, who we know is going to kill her, but that's exactly what she wants, because she wants to die in the village and be buried with her ancestors and her family. There's a child coming out of the group, looking at her, and the child thinks by itself, this is not a burial, it's a resurrection. That's also the title of your film. I was wondering, are you this child? Is it you in the group? Do you see yourself as the child?
Well, I see myself in every character in the film. There is I mean, all of the characters actually. All of the characters in the film, it's me. It's the part of me that I feel, and what I feel, and what are my fears, and what are my hopes, and what are my dreams, and the world that I like to project, and the myths that I like to project. I know they are myths, but I would like to play with this myth. Maybe someday they will be a reality. It's very rare for 70-year-old reader. I mean, there are stories of 70-year-olds, like a very old woman, like taking off their clothes and as a sign of defiance, as a sign of protest. But nowadays, no. I mean, I heard about stories like this in my country, but now I feel like it's the myth that I would like to bring back.
Yeah.
I like to see this myth happening, this legend happening. So it's very in my film is a contemporary film, but also I try to play with the whole legend, but still as a contemporary film, and with this mythology, this folklore in a contemporary film, because I want to project this mythology now in the real time, in the real, the flesh and blood, in real flesh and blood, um, uh, intangible things, in a struggle that people are going through right now. You know, that there will be some sort of an idea of, not necessarily in a big scale of like the uprise or whatever, but I like I like the idea of people standing for an idea and see my fantasies real.
Okay. I must say, your film shows an extraordinary photography. I really, really loved every shot. It's like an amazing picture, every shot you take. And there's like sometimes in the background, there's figures walking with exact the same distance between them. All the colors of the costumes go together so well. Was this all very controlled, or did it sometimes happen spontaneously? Or did you put a lot of effort in the photography?
Yeah. Everything was controlled.
Beautiful.
Everything was planned, and I try to plan, but when I walk on set, I try to be there and then just be there and just let the like ideas just happen, just let life happen. But but I already have an idea. If the spontaneous doesn't happen, I already have like some things to the back of tricks. So, but in medicine now we didn't have the luxury of waiting because of the sun and everything. We just, it was like the idea of, okay, this shot should be like this. It should feel like this because of this, So, and I love doing that. I come from a very visual background. And so I love planning the shots. I love the paintings, and I wanted to really that the shots it should come across as a painting, as mosaic of painting, as a lot of paintings. So that's what I wanted to achieve. I didn't want to steal like paintings from other painters. I really wanted to paint, and also I always wanted to when I was growing up, I wanted to be a poet. I wanted to be a painter. And somehow I failed in a way, and so I feel like now with films I could do it. I could somehow, films allows me to be a painter and a poet in a way that I inspired to be, that I couldn't be. Yeah.
I think it worked really well for you. A small detail. What I've heard as well is that there's always birds chirping in the background. Was it the natural sound of the environment, or did you put the birds on top?
It was both. It was both. But I was very aware of the nature, of the sounds of nature. I was very aware, and it was very encouraged on set because the idea was to document nature not as a landscape, but as a character. So everything we had our eyes open for any sound that can come from that place. So when it comes on set, we were aware of it. We are aware of it. And then sometimes I remember in the beginning, people will be like, oh, maybe the sound guy will be like, I think there's a sound, let's just wait. I'm like, no, let's not wait. It's very important that it's a part of what we're doing. Because most of the people were doing like sound, and because we didn't have much time to go throughout with the story to everybody and tell the story what we are doing and blah blah. The whole talking of the film, what we're doing, and how there's some people who were clueless a bit because we didn't have time actually, and everything was on set. Okay, we were talking on set. We didn't have like the long talks during the film before the film was shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then my last question is, so you just told us that you're writing on something. Can you tell us already something about your upcoming project?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very super excited about what I'm writing right now. I'm writing a film uh, about it's an essay. It's how I encountered cinema, like
Mhm,
how literally cinema saved my life,
mhm,
and uh, and also it's about a lot of my childhood. And also I'm writing another feature is more like a classical narrative
mhm.
of my version of I would say Lady Macbeth.
Okay, okay,
But
wow.
it's based on my country. My country is a very much Shakespearean tragedy.
Mhm.
So I take a lot from the actual events that happened.
The Lady
So
Macbeth of
I'm very much
Lesotho.
excited now.
Okay, well, I'm curious about that, Jeremiah. I very much would like to thank you for talking to us, and I wish you good luck with your film because it's in competition in our film festival. And I hope that your Lady Macbeth from Lesotho will give you the chance to come to Belgium in real life, not just through video.
Yeah,
Meantime, I would very much like to thank you. I extremely like the photography in your film. Like I was
thank you.
surprised every time with every new image. So for the people who really like, um, yeah, like serene, poetic films with beautiful nature and beautiful colors, I would definitely recommend to watch It's Not a Burial, It's a Resurrection. Mhm.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the audience, and also the selection committee. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful to be part of such festival, and I'm very happy. And thank you for talking to me.
Thank you for talking as well. All right, Jeremiah. See you. Good luck with everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Have a
Bye
good one too.